welcome to another episode of A Talk of Opportunity. This is Jose, and with me as usual, Andrew.
Fuck.
It's just your intro, man. You can't mess it up every time.
I thought we were doing a thing where I say my name.
We were. You just kind of skipped me.
But you said...
Andrew, just say your name.
Hi, I'm Andrew. God, why do I say it like that? Hold on. Can I...
We talked about this, Andrew.
It's like 20 seconds in. I've already taken off my glasses.
And today we're talking about paladins.
No, we're not.
and Andrew's. Oh wait, fuck!
Now you fucked up the intro.
I fucked it up.
Oh god.
Oh, this is a mess. Okay, let's try it again. All right, Andrew.
Yo.
Fighters.
You
know what fuels a fighter?
Beer?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh. You want to talk about what you're drinking today?
I am drinking. Hold on, let me pour it out real quick. Ooh, let the audio get that. Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Actually, it sounded really nice.
I know. I am having something I've never had this before. It is an Elysian Dayglow IPA.
Whoa.
I literally only bought it for the artwork because it shows a tiger shooting lasers out of its eyes. So
I figured like the marketing department was like, how can we get people to buy this beer? I mean, this IPA.
Well, I mean, Elysian's pretty good to begin with. Their Space Dust IPA is
really?
Yeah, it's really well known. It's a good solid IPA. So, but let me try this one. Oh, wow. Oh, that's really good. It's got a lot of tropical flavors to it.
Man, one day I'm gonna try to do an effort to get into IPAs.
I will definitely help you with that because I have burnt myself really badly on IPAs. So I have like made a list of like beginner IPAs for people. So
good.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna need it because I'm always like, oh, I want to try an IPA, but every time like either we're at a party or like they get together and I try an IPA, it's like this like super bitter ale, and I'm just like, ugh.
I made the mistake of one of the very first IPAs I've had was a Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA, which they have three. There's the 60-minute, 120, and the 180. Actually, I might have had the 180. Which the higher the time, that means the more bitter and strong it is. So I started out punching way above my my weight limit. And so because of that, like I was like, no, I can't do this. And so I took it as like a personal challenge to like get into IPAs. And now I do, and I love them. So.
Oh, all right. I might give it a chance.
Yeah.
But that day is not today, because today I'm drinking. See if you can guess.
But it is not this day.
It is not this day.
There will be a day when we drink IPAs, but it is not this day. For Frodo.
That smells really good.
What are you drinking?
This is a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Original 1980.
What was it? You kind of cut out there.
The Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Ooh. Sierra Nevada. Yeah. Really good.
Purest ingredients. Finest quality.
Is that the torpedo?
No, it's just a Pale Ale.
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
This is a handmade natural ale. There are no additives, only fine barley malts, whole hops, brewer's yeast, and crystal clear water.
Oh, I might be thinking. Oh, I think Torpedo might be their IPA. My bad. No, but their pale ale is like, if you like their pale ale.
Oh, that's a good one.
See, now you like pale ales, right?
Yeah, I like pale ales. That's as sour, quote unquote. That's how we go.
So pale ales are really just like a step down from IPAs. So if you like pale ales and you have like the palate for it, like all you need to do, and like I said, I can give you the name of a couple like beginner IPAs. All you got to do is just know that when you drink an IPA, it's just going to be cranked up a little bit more on the bitterness, but it's going to be a lot more flavor coming through. So it's really a lot of it is going in knowing what to expect. So
right. So now that we spent 30 minutes talking about what we're gonna drink as we talk,
normally,
let's talk about fighters.
Right. So
Andrew, fighters. Tell me what you know. Tell me the history. Tell me all the things, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Well, the word fighter stems from an old German word. No.
Okay, too far, man. Too far.
No. Fighters is literally one of the oldest classes in D&D. It was one of the
It was one of the first ones, right?
It was one of the original 3. It was one of the OG, along with magic user and cleric. And then
magic user.
And then later on in like the Greyhawk supplement, they introduced more stuff. But fighters were there since the very beginning, and
right.
And they've stuck around, obviously, and like every other class, they've kind of grown and evolved a bit. I would say in 5e, they've evolved quite a bit because I don't know how they were in 4. I don't think I've never played 4. Well, that's not true. I did play 4th edition, but it was super heavily modified to the point that I might as well not have even been 4th edition.
It was Pathfinder. That's why you.
No, it was definitely not Pathfinder. But I remember in 3.5, they were actually pretty. I wouldn't say bare bones, but pretty basic. A lot of their combat like prowess and whatnot came from the feats, because there were a multitude of feats in 3.5 or 3rd edition. I don't know which one I played now. So, because looking back at my books, I realized they say 3rd edition, not 3.5. And I had a bit of an existential crisis on that. Anyways, it's fine.
I'm pretty sure I played 3.5 because you gifted me your handbook and it was a 3.5. I'm looking at it right now. It says 3.5.
I don't even know anymore. Anyways, so in 3.5 or 3rd edition, the fighters were supplemented a lot by the feats because whereas in 5e there's like maybe a couple of pages worth of feats, but in 3.5 there's like a whole section of feats. So that's where the fighters got their thing from. But in 5e, because the feats don't take a back seat, but that's not really what's the word I'm looking for? That's not really the aim for a lot of their characters.
Yeah, it's usually feats are like an optional thing that some people decide to do.
Yeah, a lot. I'm actually genuinely surprised that it doesn't outright say in the beginning character creation, hey, you can forego the stat boost for feats, because it doesn't say that until you get to the feats section.
Yeah.
So in lieu of that, they've really expanded a lot of the fighter capabilities and stuff, and I started out playing a fighter. I think that's a really good starter class. It's very basic, very bread and butter. But it was also kind of boring, you know.
It was,
at least for me.
For what I understand, it was always just
but then it went
just hit things and walk away. For what I understand, it was always a bit of like just like hit things.
Yeah, exactly. You just hit things. But it went from being like one of the most boring classes to me one of the more fascinating classes in 5e. But I do kind of want to touch on a little something.
Yeah.
There's still an argument that fighters are boring even in 5e. And I want to say it's not the fact that fighters are boring, it's just the fact that people are not being creative enough with them.
Ooh.
No, I mean seriously.
Oh.
No, seriously, dude.
That's it. We lost our 2 subscribers. Thank you, Andrew.
Well, I mean, let's just completely alienate ourselves. No, seriously, because okay, so from a character building perspective, look at almost everybody from Game of Thrones that wields a sword. You know,
yeah.
Would you call any of them boring? Like, would you call Ned Stark or Jaime Lannister?
Are we talking season? Are we talking season 7 and season 8, or?
I'm talking about the seasons that actually happened. So, like seasons 1 through 5, maybe season 6. But no, seriously.
Yeah, they're not boring.
No, they're not boring. And I wouldn't say like Lan from A Wheel of Time is boring, and I wouldn't say, you know, Legolas or Gimli from Lord of the Rings is boring. So, you know, and even still on top of that, it's not even from a character building perspective, but it's just there's more to combat. and more to fighting than just I'm going to run up to the enemy and hit things.
Yeah, and I noticed as I was reading through the whole thing, I noticed that there's actually a lot of things in there that if you're not a selfish player and you care about your teamwork, you're actually very useful and have a lot of other things to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because the fighter, except for certain subclasses, the fighter is supposed to be right in the front lines.
Yeah.
And really that all depends on how they manipulate the battlefield. You know, because you have the what people call the most vanilla subclass, which is the champion fighter, and really all that is that he's just a really, really good fighter, you know. But then you have like subclasses like the battle master, which can manipulate and influence like parts of the battle. And I think one of the better examples I saw of the battle master fighter that, you know, I experienced firsthand was when Howard used his battle master fighter, and he's like, hey, Vesemir's over there. He's got a couple more baddies than I do. I'm going to use one of my superiority dice to give him an extra attack because I know one of those vampire spawns is like this close to dying. So might as well just, you know,
finish it off.
Yeah, exactly. Finish it off.
Yeah. Kind
of lessen the pressure. You know, it's just, and it's more about strategic thought.
Yeah, I think Howard is one of the few players I've seen use fighters very not proactively. What am I looking for?
With like a lot of versatility.
Versatility.
Yeah.
Like because he's saved the day plenty of time, but just given me a second chance.
Or
you know.
Yeah. Or just by using like more defensive options and stuff like that. Because you know, I think and I know 5e is introducing a lot of people. Like I get that. Like people that's never played Dungeons and Dragons. But when they see fighter, I need to stop breathing into the mic. when they see,
I'm gonna leave that one there just for.
But when they see fighter, they think, you know, oh, this is a guy that can hit things, and yeah, that is true. He can hit things, and he can hit things really well. But that doesn't mean that, you know, that's all he does. Like a fighter, I think what. And I'm not trying to challenge anybody here. Like I'm really not. But I think the biggest problem with the fighter is that it's such a blank canvas that a lot of people don't really know which direction they want to go with it. You know,
when you say something so controversial,
a paladin,
yet so brave.
Like you kind of know, like how they fight. A ranger, you kind of know how they fight, and even like the other classes, like a wizard, you know what he's gonna do and whatnot. But a fighter is so basic and so bare bones that like a lot of people I think just kind of see the simplicity in it when really they don't see that there's a lot of stuff they can build up on it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like just because it's very basic and plain in the beginning, actually from the get-go, I guess it might intimidate some people because a lot of other classes it dictates how you play that class.
Right.
But for the fighter, you know, it's up to the player to like do whatever you want because you can pretty much do whatever you want. You want to do range? You can do range. Up close. Support, magic, like it's all there with some flavor and its own fighting style, like, you know, as a fighter, but it's still all there. It's very dynamic in my opinion.
Yeah, and even from like a character building perspective, the fact that a fighter is, I mean, I know in the book that it says like a fighter is more than just a person with a sword, but I mean, let's really be honest with you. We've been making classes that have been going against the grain since the dawn of time.
Oh yeah.
But it's really you can make your fighter literally anybody. Like is he a disgraced knight that just happens to wander into a venture? Is he just a dude that was on guard duty at the wrong place at the wrong time? You know, like you can really there's a lot you can build from. And in terms of that, and because a fighter really only needs 2 or 3 stats depending on which subclass you're going to be building on, there's more room to kind of, you know, if you want to put a little bit more points into charisma, you can, and have them be a bit more role playing, which the subclass, the samurai, actually leans more into that, and I respect that. Yeah. But also like another thing. Going back to combat, it's not just movement and fighting. I mean, movement and attacks. Like if you go to the combat section of the PHB, there's a whole section there. Like, you know, a battlefield is more than just punching bags. Like you can be like helping your allies. You can be moving stuff around that's in the battlefield that could, you know, kind of change things. Like there's terrain, there's this, that, and the other. And it's just, I think I would challenge anybody to make a champion fighter and try to make them like interesting. And I think it is doable. It's certainly doable. I would love to see that, you know, because it's more than just the abilities and the mechanics, you know, when it comes to D&D.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, it's really like that for like almost every class. Mm-hmm. It's just fighters get the bad rep just because they, you know, they come from, they have that reputation of being just hit things and that's it.
Right.
But if you actually read through the player's handbook, you realize that there's actually a lot more there, which I was pleasantly surprised because have I played a fighter? No, I haven't played a fighter. But I had people play fighters and they have fun with it. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I mean, when you're playing the game, everything completely changes.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know, your theory of the character you gotta make is fine until you actually start like role playing it and like being in an adventure with other people. It just changes 100%, and I can attest to that.
Yes.
Okay. So fighters, yes, they have that bad reputation. Well,
I think
it's not even necessarily bad.
Well, it's not just that. I think it's because every class has a sort of baked in, what's the word I'm looking for? Like motivation. Like the warlock, like they're going to be serving their patron whether they want to or mm-hmm. not. The cleric serves their god or
Healy boys.
Yeah, or their chosen deity. The paladin is made to smite heretics or subjugate them, depending on which subclass you use. Yeah, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Like each class has their own like sort of like direction that, like a player wants to go in. Whereas like a fighter, there's no compass. Like there's no like map. And
it's up to you.
I understand the intimidation of that because, yeah, if you gave me a blank canvas and told me to make a masterpiece, that's not going to happen. However, I think a lot of that comes down to like, you know, talking to your DM and trying to say, hey, is there a way I can flavor my character in such a way that, you know, he does have something that makes him unique, but it's not like game breaking kind of a deal. And like I said, because it is vanilla, but that does not mean you can't make a sundae from it.
Yeah.
So
no. I mean, to be fair, and let's be honest here, vanilla is the best flavor of all.
Especially if you get a vanilla bean with a little black spots in it.
Yeah. Especially if you buy the premium one with actual vanilla bean. Have you ever had that?
Yes, I was, because yesterday I was doing some grocery shopping and I was looking for they had a deal on gelato. It was like 3 for $10, mm-hmm. and there's like oh yeah, here's a raspberry chocolate like cheesecake and stuff like that. I'm like, fuck that, where's the vanilla?
Yeah.
I'm like digging in the back and there's one thing of it was Madagascar vanilla.
Ooh, I haven't had that.
That's so fucking good.
Yeah, no, vanilla's the best. Yes. But yeah, I mean, and there's a lot to do with the fighter. And reading through all of this, and one thing I never really quite understood beforehand, like I know it was a thing, was I think for the battle master, the superiority dice, which Howard uses all the time. And I'm always like, mm-hmm. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Like, there's a lot you can do with superiority dice.
The battle master is I would say the best subclass for fighter.
Holy crap, dude!
The battle master kicks the crap out of all. Oh yeah,
this is the dude that like, this is the dude that like knows. He knows. He breathed and was bred by battle. He was forged in the fires of battle. And and what I love about that is that they didn't just do like, oh yeah, you could do 3d12 of damage. No. Because like you said earlier, in battle, like there's a lot more to battle than that. And holy crap, this guy can do a lot more in battle than just hitting things.
Right.
Which,
and I think,
which he can do a lot of, but you know.
Well, I mean, So if we're talking about just straight fighter, like no subclasses, you kind of have to think by the time they're like level 20, I think they can do 4 extra attacks, which hold on, keep in mind, a round is 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So imagine a dude attacking 4 times in 6 seconds, or 8 times if he uses his action surge.
3
that
at
is
level 20.
Or Jesus. so I mean, we are talking like this is legitimately like superhuman levels of speed.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me that does not sound boring.
This is like John Wick type of fighting, but with swords.
This is okay. So actually, I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because I was reading on a forum somewhere. I don't recall right now. I'll have to look it up for clarity. But someone's like, "Hey, what about like D&D stats for real life?" I think someone asked Mike Merles that or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, or somebody said, that if you take the world's best fighter, like hands down, like the one that everyone believes is the world's best fighter, he might be a level 4 or 5.
Damn.
So I mean, just kind of put that in perspective. Like, we have a fighter right now that can take 140 HP worth of damage. He can attack like 8 times or something like that if he uses his action surge. No, he can attack 4 times.
He attacked 4 times at one point and dealt like 64 hit points of damage.
Right, exactly. I mean, and so that's nothing to scoff at.
Nah, dude.
and we're not even counting the superiority dice or anything like that.
Right.
Like, that's just based fighter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's in the name. Like, these guys are excellent in combat.
So what's the main difference between the Battle Master and the champion? So what's the main difference between like more Battle Master and champion?
Okay, so the champion fighter, kind of think of it in like terms of scale. All right, like the champion fighter, he deals with the enemies around him. You know, like he's going to have multi-attack later on,
right,
stuff like that, and he's going to have like improved criticals and blah blah blah, and he can have another fighting style. So he's going to be worrying about the enemies immediately around him. The Battle Master is going to be worrying about the entire battlefield.
That makes sense.
So whereas the champion's range of, I guess, concern, for lack of a better term, is going to be the 5 to 10 feet, depending on the weapon he has around him, the Battle Master is going to be surveying the entire thing. So yeah, and this is going to be this, and a lot of it is based on sight. Remember that. So if you really want to cripple a Battle Master, you hit him with blindness or deafness.
Hey man, I mean, you want to talk about the Arcane Archer?
Well, hold on. Oh Jesus. No, I don't want to talk about the Arcane Archer because it's gonna make me no. Yeah, let's talk about the Arcane Archer. But even then, okay. So even speaking of archers and stuff like that, it says in the PHP, you know, your highest stat should either be strength or dexterity, and then it says it depends if you want to be like a frontline fighter or if you want to be more focused with archery and finesse.
Yeah. Which is also, sorry to interrupt, but like it's also I noticed that the fighter can like use any fighting style. Like they're all there. Yeah,
they're all there, and depending on certain subclasses, you only get one. I want to say the champion is the only one that gets 2, but that's fine.
Yeah, the champion is the one that gets 2.
That's totally fine because that makes sense, because they are supposed to be like the champion. Like if it is a trial by combat or something like that, this is the guy you would pick. So
he's Braun.
You know, exactly. He's or you know, the mountain.
The mountain is a golem.
No, the mountain is what you fucking guys are right now. You're 25 strength, okay?
You're right, though.
Anyways, so even then, even if you do pick a dexterity-based fighter, like you're still gonna have a certain amount of control over the battlefield, because then you're gonna be like more ranged, and stuff like that. And you're also going to be much more slippery because your dexterity is obviously going to, roll into your AC. And I think, I know strength base works really well for Battle Master, but I think dexterity would work too in a thematic sense, because then as the archer, you're obviously going to have a scope over the battlefield.
Yeah.
And if you have an archer Battle Master that has sniper, God help you. So, but even then, okay, so we've been talking a lot about the champion and the Battle Master, but even then, like, the fighters, just PHB, the fighters also get, some magic too.
Oh, the Eldritch?
The Eldritch Knight, which unfortunately, if you're going to go with that means you kind of have to, like, maybe put Constitution a bit on the back burner so you can up your intelligence a bit. But but a lot of their magic, because it's evocation and abjuration magic, they can still manipulate the battlefield by, maybe using some sort of magic to kind of cut the enemy off, or they can use their abjuration magic to kind of, shield themselves and their allies and stuff like that. So there's still, again, a lot of it is still primary battlefield control, and that's the main word, is control.
Another one that controls really well the battlefield, and from what I understand.
And if you do have a fighter, like, as a DM, if your group has a fighter, that's going to be, like, one of the things that you have to deal with is, like, control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I like about the Eldritch, what's it called? The Eldritch fighter?
Knight.
Eldritch Knight?
Yeah.
It's the freaking weapon bond. I think that's so freaking cool.
The bonded weapon.
Yeah. You can have up to 2.
If that does not conjure up images of, like, Thor or Kratos from God of War, because I've been playing a lot of God of War lately.
It's so badass. You can just call it and, like, and it's magic too. Like, it's like magical attack.
I actually read this amazing. Hold on, wait. Does the bonded weapon have a range? Nope. You just get it. Okay, so I'm trying not to read too much from the book. But I actually read this amazing story where there was this group and they were searching for, like, this weapon, and it was like a weapon that was, like, passed down through the ages and stuff like that, and because of it had a lot of political leeway, like a lot of gravity. And so they found it, and the Eldritch Knight's like, I'm gonna bond to it. And the group's like, why? I'm like, just hear me out, I'm gonna bond to it. And they're like, okay, fine. So he bonds to it, and then, like, one of the villains shows up, and they made a deal with the villain to, like, hey, we give you the sword, you promise to leave us in this town alone, blah, blah, blah. And the villain's like, okay, deal. And then the villain leaves, and then he activates his weapon bond. And he's like, well, we gave it to him. I didn't say anything about him keeping it.
That's awesome.
So
as a DM there, I'll be like, you know what?
You get inspiration.
Yeah. You get inspiration for that. Also, the bad guy is impressed. So he's not going to have press charges.
It's like, I mean, that really all depends. Is the bad guy lawful evil? He's like, well, he stuck to his word.
That's true. That's true. He did say you can have it.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about keeping it. But still, even then, like, yeah, the Eldritch Knight and the real problem with the Eldritch Knight is that all of its abilities take up a page, which is still better than the champion where it takes like a paragraph.
Yeah.
But like the Eldritch Knight, it does get some really cool things at like 7th level and blah 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 blah. But you gotta remember, a lot of that's going to be supplemented by spell casting, and whatnot. Yeah. And even then, at certain levels, you can also get magic from any school, so you're not just stuck with abjuration and evocation. But still, I've heard a lot of people saying they've had a lot of fun with the Eldritch Knight, and a lot of it's not optimal, obviously. Like you're
because you're spreading out your attributes. So you're not focusing on like one specific thing, but I can. That doesn't matter. I mean, you have like a whole new like venue for creating chaos with magic. You know,
optimization takes a big back step to D&D.
Yeah,
it's really all about having fun. But can you just imagine the amount of chaos a battle master and an Eldritch Knight can do on the battlefield? Like I mean, really, just if you have any two fighters, as long as one of them's a battle master, like they're just gonna plow through enemies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially if they have like magic weapons and stuff like that. So speaking of magic weapons,
dude,
yes, what's up?
The Arcane Archer, which by the way, hold on, I love how like the Wizards of the Coast is like, yeah, we fucked up with a rogue. With the ranger, you know, like here have some okay classes, some pretty good classes for the ranger, but let's save the real badass range archer for the fighter.
Yeah, I was actually reading the Arcane Archer, and I'm like, this belongs to the ranger. I mean, I understand why it's a fighter class because it's fighting, but it's like,
yeah,
I'm just saying some of these attacks are mean.
This is the one that, like, if you ever watch like any like fantasy or anime show out there, and you have like the archer from the side, and like he shoots the arrow, and there's like magic imbued with it, and there's like some awesome shit that happens when the arrow reaches the target. This is the class you want to play. You're gonna be you're gonna be from afar, and you're gonna have the ability to like imbue your arrows with magic, and each arrow can do a variety of different things, including like area of effect explosions, you know.
Yeah. Well, each arcane shot, I think that's the name of it. Each arcane shot is taken from a different school of magic, and so they did a really neat thing where they kind of flavored the shot towards what it does. My personal favorite is Seeking Arrow.
Yeah.
Where that's the scene where Hawkeye just shoots an arrow off to the side when he's not looking. Yeah, he just hits somebody.
Yeah, he's up on the building. I thought the exact same thing.
but yeah, some of these, a lot of these are. Actually, these are all fucking really cool.
Well, which is the one that I like. The one that's like it's like a straight line, and you shoot the arrows in a straight line, and it's like it's within like 1 foot circular, and any creature, it doesn't matter if it's behind cover or anything because it's all magic. The arrow passes through everything, and any creature that it touches, it takes damage.
Oh yeah, that's the piercing arrow.
The piercing arrow.
It uses transmutation magic, and it just blows right through walls.
Yeah, right through everything. I just imagine like he's just holding it and like charging it, and you hear that sound like that Men in Black, like.
Wait, why do I hear the Mega Man charging?
Dude, if you move on the battlefield in the right like position, you can do a lot of damage to a lot of different enemies.
Does it go through everybody?
It goes to 30 feet.
Holy shit.
It doesn't matter if they're covered, it goes through walls, through everything.
So my favorite one, well, now my favorite one's the piercing arrow. But the seeking arrow was really cool. The grasping arrow was really neat too. You shoot them, and it all these thorns come out, and it does like poison damage on top of slashing damage if they try to move. But the banishing arrow sounds really fun. Where you shoot them, and if they fail a charisma save, they just out of existence.
Yeah.
Holy shit, he shot him so fucking hard, he's into another realm.
I mean, that's pretty badass though. Can you imagine like when we were at those gates going to the Amber Temple, and like you know how like somebody banished, I think it was Heather who banished one of the gargoyles or whatever. It's another plane. But like, you know, that you expect that from a spellcaster, you know, like, oh, God, there's some cool magic, and you see like all the lines and like all the crazy conjuration, and then, but then like, can you imagine if it was like the archer, and like battle's happening, and then the arrows hits and it disappears?
Yep.
Whoa, where'd it go?
I would actually, if you want to make these really fun, I would not say these are magic. He hit that guy so fucking hard the arrow exploded. The arrow within 10 feet of him took like 2d6 like
he shot that arrow so hard it went through walls and hit everything within 30 feet.
He shot that arrow so hard it made him feeble, so he couldn't deal damage the next turn.
Oh man, which is the one that like blinds one? I can't.
Is there a blinding one?
Yeah, there's one that causes it blinds the target.
No, because I know the necromantic one doesn't. Oh, that's the shadow arrow.
Yeah, the foe's vision. Yeah, the shadow arrow.
Yeah, it makes it to where you can't see with outside of 5 feet of you.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's pretty useful.
No, these are all useful.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, you only get, I think, 2 right at the outset, and then once you level up to, I think, 10 or wherever, you can pick a third one. Ooh. So a lot of that, if I were to play an Arcane Archer, and who's to say that I don't have one made already? Jose, don't. Jose, this is like the first one I told you, okay? I don't want to hear
I
it.
know, and it was very badass, and then from there it evolved to like a list of 20.
Well, I'm probably going to go back to this now.
Yeah,
anyways.
I told you by the time the campaign started, you were going to go back to the original one, which was the Sekiro Inspire one.
Because it's... Anyways. but like a lot of the things about the... What makes the Arcane Archer cool, it's not the fact that it does a lot of damage, except for the Bursting Arrow. The Bursting Arrow is the one that does the most damage, obviously, because it's evocation.
Right.
But a lot of these have something useful outside of that. You know, like the Banishing Arrow, it doesn't do that much damage. Actually, I don't think it does any damage at first. Yeah, it doesn't do any damage at first. But you are going to take that person out for at least a round. So if it's like someone really powerful, hey, just kind of get him out of the playing field for a bit. You know, so a lot of it is utilities, and again, battlefield control.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's perfectly in line with the rest of the fighter subclasses.
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, and like we said earlier, you have, and that's why I agree with you 100% now that, you know, if you're, you know, it's such a controversial thing you've said, Andrew. I can't believe you said it. But I know. But I agree with you. Like if you think it's boring,
the world on fire.
if you think it's boring, it's mainly because like you're not being creative enough. And like, I'm sorry, but like I was reading through these and I didn't think any of them were boring. I really think it boils down to like people who come from like other previous editions of D&D. You just have that stigma of like, oh, the fighter's just a fighter, you know. And then Wizards and then Wizards kind of like took that and like, nope, the fighter's not just a fighter.
And from what I've understood, because I haven't played any of the earlier editions, and I don't know if I ever will, honestly. But from what I've understood, the fighters were kind of like that. Like during high level play, they kind of became like useless. And
I've heard that before, yeah.
Mm-hmm, and I think that's why they retooled it so much so that it's not like that. And they kind of overcorrected. because in 3.5 I was like, okay, fighters are cool, but now I'm like, holy shit, hey, fighters. And I'm just like,
yeah, it's your boy.
be careful of the people that you make fun of at high school.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I mean it's cool, and like they even have everything. Okay, let me ask you something.
Sure.
The Cavalier, did I say that right?
Yeah, Cavalier.
What the fuck? It's just like a crowd control?
Because, yeah, I was reading the Cavalier, and I'm like, this is a really good class, but the second you go into a dungeon setting...
Right, I was thinking about that.
I mean, the Cavalier is a really... The Cavalier is extremely niche, because almost all of your abilities, you have to be mounted. Actually, I think all of your abilities you have to be mounted, right?
Well, yeah, for what I understand is... Okay, it's the classic knight in shiny armor type situation. Obviously, the classic knight in shiny armor really are the paladins here, but, you know, you're like...
Or just a strength-based fighter. If you really want to be really basic about it, a strength-based fighter can be a knight as well. But like, anyways, go on.
But you have the Cavalier who, like, it's cool. Like, some of the stuff he can do is pretty badass. I just imagine it, like, weaving in and out through the battlefield and, like, you know, like, no, you're not going to do that. Oh, leave my friend alone and all that kind of stuff. Especially if you combine it with, like, some feats, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Castle Siege, awesome. You know? How do you see this guy in the middle of either the Amber Temple or the Tomb of the Nine Gods? Or, even for that matter, inside of... We haven't gotten there. Inside of, like, Ravenloft.
Well,
can you imagine, like...
One, that would be really fucking rude if you ran a horse through inside Ravenloft, because, I mean... but But actually, the Amber Temple has a lot more room than you would think. But I mean, if we're talking like a very classic style dungeon where it's like the catacombs underneath a hill or some crap like that, and the hallways are 5 feet wide and 10 feet tall, like your horse is not going to fit in there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's cool. I get it. I understood why they did it, because if what I believe is correct, a lot of people were asking for something similar to this. Because there wasn't anything really with like a dedicated mounted class.
No, mounted combat is damn near non-existent in 5e.
Yeah, it's hard, and so I get it. I understand why they did it. It's there for the people who like want to play a very specific type of campaign, you know.
Well, I think because I'm kind of looking over the Cavalier right now, and there is a good amount of stuff that deals with being mounted, but some of it is not exactly. So I think they were just kind of trying to go for the knight in shining armor, but I think they were trying to encompass all the aspects of it, including being like mounted atop a horse and stuff like that, and lancing enemies and crap. Because I mean, like abilities like hold the line, and it even says like in Ferocious Charger, you don't need your mount to charge into enemies. So I think well,
that's a level 15 though.
That's true, but I mean there are some stuff like Unwavering Mark and Warding Maneuver and stuff like that. So I think it even says here on the very top where it says Cavalier Samurai. I saw that, yeah. They were trying to go for the like romantic, like Hollywood version of these things. So to me, the mount version of it, like if you were in a campaign that had big grandiose battlefields, like akin to like Lord of the Rings or something like that, then yes, the Cavalier would be 100% like useful and damn near necessary. But in a normal setting, I think the mount kind of boils down to upgraded flavor, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which, here's the real question. You have a member of your party that really wants to play a Cavalier. However, you know for a fact that there's going to be a lot of cramped dungeons. For some reason, they want to play a Cavalier in Out of the Abyss. Let's just say that.
How do you get your horse in the Underdark?
Here's the question. If they want to, and they said, well, if that's the case, can I be a gnome that rides like a dog or something like that?
That's actually pretty creative. I like that.
Would you allow that?
Hell yeah, I'll allow that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I would too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even think about it, like reducing the size of the...
be like a halfling that rides like a boar or something like that.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool as hell. I like that.
That would be scary too. Seeing a fully armored halfling presumably an armored boar as well through the Underdark.
Hell yeah!
Just charge!
Oh man!
Oh, that'd be awesome. And this is what D&D's all about.
Yep. No, I'll allow
stupid crap like that.
Yeah, I would definitely allow that 100%. Because that's actually a pretty creative solution to the whole
that was when I was reading over the Cavalier, I'm like, this seems really restrictive to a certain degree, because like if you're playing like a normal human knight with a horse, like you're gonna be really limited on where you can go.
Yeah.
So
also,
you just gotta kind of work around it.
Yeah, and then having the horse, because the horse will eventually be part of the party. Like there's no denying that. Like, let's say you can't get it into like the tight cave that everybody's trying to squeeze through. Like, you gotta leave it outside. That's kind of mean. What if it rains?
What if it rains? What if it gets lonely?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no. I mean, the Cavalier. I get it. I understand where it's coming from. I know that there's a demand for it out there. I don't think I will ever play a Cavalier.
I mean,
unless it's like a one-off.
I'm not saying I wouldn't play a Cavalier. I'm just saying, like, I'm just really thankful that Wizards of the Coast included the word either you, your mount, or other creatures. Because if it said you or your mount, I'm like, okay, this might be a problem,
Yeah.
But the fact that they kind of like, hey, I know you can't take your horse everywhere, so But
it shows that they were aware of the issue.
Oh yeah, exactly. And kudos to them to try to take this really what could have been a incredibly niche class and kind of broadening it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
And now probably I wouldn't say the weirdest choice for a subclass, but definitely the most interesting to me personally from a role playing aspect is the samurai.
When I heard that there was going to be a samurai,
this was not what you were thinking, was it?
No. I was not, but after reading it, I'm like, okay, I guess it kind of makes sense. But I was me, I was like, yeah, fucking samurai. I'm going to be Rory Kenshin, super dweep over here trying to like bring anime into the power of anime and God on my side. I think I dig it, but it's based for what it feels like it's based on you just getting hit.
Yeah.
Is that what it feels like to you, or is it just me?
Because
the whole point of this one is that you're the romanticized version of a samurai. You're Tom Cruise, in The Last Samurai. You get hit with arrows, you get hit with bullets, but you keep going because you have that prideful warrior spirit. And
that's really only the last ability.
Well, I'm saying like the whole like thing is just this like you have like this like fighting spirit within you. I'm like, but I mean, well, I guess you can take into account like the base like multi-attack stuff from a fighter. Because I was like, I was thinking of it like separated from the actual fighter, but this adds to the attacking 27 times in a turn anyway. So
yeah, exactly. And like if you think about it, if you take the samurai subclass and you encompass it with action surge and the what's the one where they get extra health? Like they just like. Like they kind of like just brush off the damage.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Anyways, yeah. So that, those two things, alongside the subclass, yeah, it really does kind of like add to that sort of romantic, like idea of the samurai. I think it's really, I think it was a really interesting choice to have the samurai being a lot more role playing. Mm-hmm. Like, well, not a lot more. I say a lot more. There's really only like two things that they get that's role playing. But the fact that they get any role playing aspects at all,
which is the elegant courtier, right?
The elegant courtier and some of the bonus proficiencies because it's like insight, performance, persuasion, blah blah blah. Yeah. So so it kind of. To me, when I was reading this, it's like, yes, you are like a warrior that's like tireless and like you do have the fighting spirit, like you said, blah blah blah. But you are also going to be dealing with royalty, or something to that, respect. Either that, or you're going to be representing some idea of like nobility and stuff like that. Yeah. So it.
But you can say that I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. Just because, I don't know, but I guess in reality, like, did I have an idea of what the samurai should have been? Because I don't think I did. But they decided to go with, you get a little bit of extra vitality to take a little bit more hits, and you're good at, like, diplomacy, I guess you could say.
Well, it's not only that, but it's you also get the ability to hit a lot. like if you, okay, so the fighting spirit, it gives you advantage on your next attack roll.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. However, if you use that in conjunction with a rapid strike, you can forego that advantage to just get another attack.
The rapid strike is at level 15.
Right, but also at level 15, you're going to be doing like 3 bonus attacks, like 3 extra attacks, and then an action surge on top of that.
Yeah.
So this really does conjure up that sort of anime image of like the guy just like all you see is just like him pull out the sword and then put it back in, and then the dude just like falls apart into like a bunch of cubes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I guess. For some reason, no matter how many times I reread it, part of me wants to play it, but the other part of me is like, well, that doesn't really sound like a lot of fun for me. I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I think this might be something that would be fun in like you have to throw it into the action and see how it like feels.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of this is theorizing and like, oh, maybe
like a level 7 test run, you know? Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. Or just have like a one-off that's like at 10th level. That way, like most of the classes can have like the full breadth of their abilities almost.
However, though, if I was playing a samurai, you bet your ass I'm gonna be like full on like anime.
Have the reverse blade.
Oh hell like yeah! And I'm gonna have like the cross on my cheek. But my hair is not gonna be orange; it's gonna be red. Oh wait, no, it's not gonna be red. It's gonna be like an off orange yellow.
And you're gonna be called like the little wolf or some crap.
Yeah, the wanderer or some bullshit. And then like it's gonna be always a really dark secret past that doesn't want anybody else to know, like that kind of bullshit.
But he's like right now he's like happy and bubbly. But if someone brings up his dark past, like his eyes get all
yes, that's exactly. Like you bet your ass I'm gonna go for that. I don't even care. His name is gonna be Kuroni Renshin. Yeah. Because I'm an expert at coming out with names.
But I can't. You know what? You can't knock it. But I mean, but like even like this. Hold on. The samurai mixed with the like dexterity based fighter. Like that springs up a lot to my mind because the samurai were also really good at archery and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So,
which
I mean,
actually, fun fact, archery was like their primary like damage output. The sword was really for close combat that you didn't want to get to that point.
And that's why they didn't really focus on shields because they needed both hands for archery.
Yeah, archery and like what was the I want to say spear, but they called it something else. That very long thing, whatever. Oh, but yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But historically, yes, you're right. Archery is like their main thing. That'd be pretty cool. Like that classic image of like the samurai with like the really long bow, the really long bow.
The one where they had to like bring their arms up above them and then draw.
Yeah,
exactly. Something from like Princess Mononoke where the dude just blows the guy's arms off with an arrow.
Yeah, and then if you can like can you multi-class to a separate subclass?
No.
Oh.
No, you cannot. No, I know you're trying to make some samurai arcane archer bullshit, but no, you can't.
Hey Andrew, so I want to play a samurai arcane archer bullshit.
No, you can't. No. No, Jose. No.
Okay, fine.
But no, I'm just saying, but like a samurai with like the crossbow expert feat, which allows them to ignore range, like close combat range when it comes to ranged weapons, and then like the sniper ability is like it's terrifying, but but it also just kind of works with it. And also keep in mind, this is probably the first time you came across the samurai subclass, right?
Yeah.
Samurais were considered the worst subclass ever in 3.5.
Oh, there was a samurai subclass?
And it was awful. Like, it was useless. So
how useless?
I don't remember it exactly, but I remember reading it and being like, wow, no one's ever going to use this. And then I looked up like, oh, what, like best and worst classes of whatever. And sure enough, the samurai fighter was considered the worst class in 3.5. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So the fact that it has any good uses at all makes it a lot better in my book.
No, well, there you go. This is not, for me, it's like the first time ever, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So
that's crazy. So yeah, I mean, I feel this shows that like fighters do have a lot of flexibility. And it really is up to the player to like do whatever the hell they want to do with it, because unlike other classes, like we said earlier, it's not defined by, oh, you're a spellcaster, so you have to be a far the whole time and not get hit because you're squishy. Like, you're not bound by anything, and that can be intimidating. I understand why, but fuck it, it's D&D. There's no wrong answers. Just fucking do it.
But it's also like when you're creating a fighter, there's a lot you can do. Like, there's a lot of things you can pull from because it's so it's so blank, and it's so like if you can justify almost any background for a fighter, you know, like I actually think the neatest one would be like a sage fighter, because I mean, think of it. Oh god, I'm forgetting the name. Rhaegar Targaryen from Game of Thrones, like he was a sage fighter, like he was known to be really well learned, but he was also excellent in combat, like kind of a, you know, so like, or you can have like a criminal fighter, you can have a guild artisan fighter if you really wanted to, like just a bartender that had too much. And he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go out there and stop this evil myself, like kind of a thing. So you know, it's just, I mean, it's really, I see a lot of potential in fighters, you know, just from every sort of aspect. I see tons of potential.
Same.
And that's why I love them. That's why they're my top 3.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I mean, fighters, I feel the same. You know, I came in with fighters as in the easy class that like you can just give somebody and they'll get through it, like a new player. They'll get through a game with no problem. But like it holds up even with an experienced player. You can take advantage and do a lot of different things with it.
I think a fighter kind of encompasses the saying easy to learn, difficult to master.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because it is super easy to pick up a fighter, but to really get the full breadth of what they can do, like you really have to like reach into like the strange parts of your mind. Like you have to get to the full extent of it, you know, and it's really an exercise.
Yeah. And with that being said, you know, props to Howard, because he plays fighters really, really well.
Yeah. As someone that I have known, and you told me that he normally plays spellcasters, he is a really good fighter.
Yeah. No, I'm always surprised. Yeah.
Like wow.
Because he could have been just another Vesemir and just hit things straight up. You know, Vesemir's my character, by the way, a blood hunter that just hits things.
Well, I mean, you do other things as well, but you also hit things really, really well. But he sees like, hey, like this person can hit things really well too. I'm going to give them another chance because he, well, I mean, with his +2 greatsword, maybe not anymore. But before that, he was like, hey, this guy can do more damage than me, and he, you know, he usually rolls really good, so I'm going to give him another chance, you know, kind of get this enemy out of the way, sort of a deal. But I mean, on top of that, like he's been playing in character, but he's also been very smart. Like he's also been thinking very tactically.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I think if you really want like a good idea on how to play a fighter, just check up on any of our live streams. We usually play every Wednesday.
Yeah, you'll have a blast. Not just because of the good fighters and the good players in there, but just because of all the shenanigans that happened. Which brings us to a segment that we haven't done in a while, Andrew.
Highlights.
You have anything fun to share about the past few?
No, I do not.
What are you talking about, dude?
Okay, so I actually do want to bring up the session highlight for me personally, and I know this is going to sound really selfish, but this was my highlight. Was when you guys finally came up to the vampire amber stone.
Oh my god!
And I was like, I was like legitimately like waiting for this moment. I'm like, okay.
You wanna give a, because we haven't done highlights for a while, so I don't know if you want to give a little bit of a recap up to that point.
Right. Yeah, I'll give a brief recap. So the party has gotten almost all of the Barovian fortunes. The only one they haven't found yet was a weapon to help take out Strahd, which they deduced might be in a place called the Amber Temple, which is this horrifying place in the middle of the mountains that even getting there was like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, we almost died like on the first room.
Yeah. And then once they got in, it's just been nothing but explosions and death and whatnot, and stone golems smashing in people's faces. And so in this Amber Temple, there's like these amber sarcophagus, and they give you dark powers and whatnot. A lot of the party has used it to gain 25 strength. I don't know why the warlock wants to do that, but hey, you know what? Good on you. You do you.
We have a beefy warlock.
we started out with what I thought were a bunch of buff boys, but now we got a bunch of buff boys and girl. So the only thing is that like, you know, like you might potentially become evil, blah blah blah. Vesemir has become straight up evil. because due to his character, he wants to investigate a lot of these stuff. So he's like, ooh, what's this? And every time you touch a sarcophagus, you have to make a charisma saving throw. If you fail it, you shift alignments. And his alignment shift was violent to say the least. and I think the majority of the party's evil now, right? I think the only ones that aren't evil are Lilith and Smalljax. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's because they keep passing those checks, man. I'm waiting for Smalljax to become evil.
He is like, he's doing really good on his charisma checks.
Yeah, I don't think the Lilith is gonna become evil because, you know, it's a warlock. But
yeah, well, maybe. Anyways, I mean, we're not out of the Amber Temple yet. So they finally came across like these amber sarcophagus, and one of them had the power. One of them had a prerequisite. Like, you had to be a spellcaster that can use a 9th level spell, which nobody could. So it's like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And then one of them had it said the power to bring back the ancient dead, and only one person did that, which I think was Casimir. But then there was one that was like, ooh, I am the power of the vampire and whatnot. My prices are high and whatnot. So Jose and Alex was like, I'm going to touch the stone. I muted the rest of the party so they couldn't hear what I was saying. And you guys immediately start talking about murdering people in the party. Like, you're like, okay, I got Rictavio, Smalljax, you take care of Casimir. Like, this kind of a thing. And the rest of the party was like freaking out. Like, oh, they're like, I can't hear you and stuff like that.
They even try to go into the stream so they can hear it.
Yeah, a bunch of cheating fucks. Anyways, so Jose had to mute the stream. It was a very meta experience, and I loved it.
Dude,
anyways,
yeah.
So this was the moment I was looking forward to, because I'm like, oh, wait a minute, he's gonna fucking kill Rictavio. Like, this moment has been building since the winery. Like, he's gonna murder this dude in cold blood. But you didn't. You actually decided that, you know, true power doesn't come from a stone. It came from you smashing that stone to bits. So and I even like carefully tooled it to where, like, okay, Rictavio's gonna take a little bit of health here from this.
Yeah, you told me about that after. So I could kill him in one hit.
So that way you can like kill him in one hit. And I was like, oh, we're gonna do this. This is gonna happen. I'm like, this is gonna be the moment where Vesemir becomes the villain. But no, sure enough.
Listen.
Oh well.
Listen. All I'm gonna say about that bit is that I've never had such an existential crisis in a D&D game. That's reserved for everyday life, okay?
But you thought about it.
Oh my god. Yeah, so from my end.
So,
go ahead. Finish your highlight.
I just want to say, I think I could tell, because immediately after you touched that stone, we went into combat, and you were like distracted the whole time. Like, your character and you were distracted the whole time. You were just sitting there thinking about it.
I was legitimately thinking about it the whole time. Because I was... Okay, so my character's always been... So from the beginning, my character's always been very curious about death. Any form of death. Right? So my character's all about checking things, and that's what's gotten us into the most trouble, really, through the whole adventure. In the Amber Temple, like, one of the first things, I think, before we even found one of the stones was a dead body with a staff.
Yep.
My character's like, well, shit, it's a dead body. Let me investigate. And you mentioned the staff, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, and I grabbed the staff, got cursed right away. You know, We find the sarcophagus, fucking tap him. I don't care. What does this one say? What does this one say? Then I failed. I got one that gave me the flaw that I wanted power no matter what.
That was the staff. The staff is.
The staff gave me I wanted power no matter what the cost is. And then, no matter what the cost is now, but like I seek power or whatever the hell. And then another one gave me the evil alignment because I failed the check. So when I got to the vampire bit,
Well, and don't forget, you also got one where your flaw was I like to bully people and make them feel weak.
Yes, and then exactly. So when I got to the vampire one, I don't play evil characters. Every time I try to do like an evil run of like GTA or like even going back to like Fable, just doing like I can't do it. It's not my playstyle. So
I don't want the people to feel sad.
Exactly. And then like Andrew challenged me. He's like, you know what? Like try to play, see how it goes. So I took that too.
Because he told me like I'm uncomfortable with this.
I'm like, so uncomfortable being the evil guy.
And I'm like, okay, look, you don't have to like burn down an orphanage. It's a small change. It's like
no, it's not, because it's not even like evil or neutral evil or lawful. No, it's chaotic evil. So like that already puts like a whole nother layer in it. Anyways, so I get to the vampire one. It tells me you have to kill. No, you have the power of a vampire, but you have to kill somebody you revere or love, which was Rictavio, because he was like my childhood hero. I love, by the way, that fact came in like way later after I make my character, just because why not?
Yeah, that was all pure coincidence. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, you just played out really nicely. And then the other thing was that loved ones had to kill me. I had to get killed by the land, like, which will be the party.
Right. So ideally, what was supposed to happen was that you killed Rictavio, and then they all just ganged up on you and killed you.
Right. Which, I stepped away and I'm like, okay, mechanically, they're probably not going to kill me. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, it's asking a lot from them to kill me. So it wouldn't have worked anyways. But role-playing wise, I had, oh my God, the whole fight. I wasn't even aware that there were two freaking vampire spawns near me. That whole fight, I was just like weighing the pros. How can I justify not doing it? Like, I was just like, if I do it, what's going to happen to my character? Like, I don't want to end it like this. But like all these flaws, like all these things that my character sheet says I have to do, it's like my character flaws. So I came down to the conclusion that because of everything that Vesemir has seen in Barovia and everything he's learned about Strahd because of the book that Lilith found, and how all his life has been essentially misery. He does have all this great power, but he's like trapped in a sense. Mm-hmm. I came to the conclusion that like Vesemir he wanted power, but he wanted to use the power, not just be trapped or be like contained to a certain place or anything. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So like that was Vesemir's thought process on there. Me as a player, I'm like, because dude, I almost killed Rictavio. I was so close to killing Rictavio.
I was like, when you brought the sword up, I'm like, he's gonna do it.
I was so close. The only reason I didn't do it, and it was one of the parts that weighted me against not doing it, was that at some point in the battle, I was hurt. Not like critically hurt or anything, but like Rictavio said, "Let me heal you, son," and healed me. And like, I don't know if it was like me as a person or the character itself, but I was just like, I can't kill this old fool. And I couldn't bring myself to do it. And that's how it became to the rationalization of like, I don't want to be trapped. I don't want to be like controlled, all this bullshit that comes with being a vampire.
When you said that was what did it, I was like, fuck.
You wanted me to kill Rictavio, didn't you?
Did I want you to kill Rictavio? No. Would it have been an incredibly dramatic moment and turning point in the story? Hell yes.
Yes, it would have been. It would have been.
So I mean, like it would have played to your disadvantage to kill Rictavio in the long run. It would have. Right. However, it would have made for a damn good story.
Oh man, it would have been fucking glorious. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it too. Because I'm like, what other like. I wish this would happen in one of my campaigns. Some sort of like crazy ass like decision like this to any of my players. You know what I mean? But like and that's why I was gonna take it until he fucking healed me and he called me son. And I'm like, man, I can't kill this old fool.
I was also gonna like make it even more sympathetic. Like he painfully limps over to you because he got hurt or some crap like that. I'm like, no, don't turn up the juice because I don't want to sway his his decision. I just want to like kind of just I wanted to put Rictavio right there so that way in case you did want to do it, he's right there. You don't have to go through anybody. But also, if there was like sort of like a conflict, like maybe he could have like talked to you, kind of a deal, like talked you out of it, kind of a thing. That way, like I positioned him so I didn't position him just to kill him. I know that's what most people are going to get out of this conversation, but I positioned him in a way so that way, like I wanted him to be the foil to that argument, you know, because like his backstory, a backstory which you guys have not explored, but his backstory is that he kind of did some horrible things to hunt monsters, kind of a deal. So he understands the whole like to hunt monsters you have to become a monster, sort of a thing.
Which my character's a blood hunter, so that's his whole
right,
thing. Yeah.
So that was gonna be like his argument if there was like a role playing moment.
Like don't make my mistakes type situation.
Yeah, like hey, look, I know what you're thinking. I've been down this road. It's bad. So man,
let me tell you, it was the most like emotionally intense moment I've had in a D&D game. And I thank you for that because it was fucking epic. I wish there was a way to record all the thoughts I was going through my head and display them or something. Cause like, holy shit, dude, I don't even remember the fight. I just remember like there was a bunch of like vampire spawns and they got killed. That's it. I don't remember what happened, who casted what, who did what. Okay. None of that.
So I have to say you had a bit of an internal struggle. As far as I'm aware, Small Drax was still down to kill Casimir. Because he was like, hey, are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
but no. Here's a really funny part. Okay, so then Lilith decided she wanted to touch the stone. I guess just to see what all the hubbub was about.
Yeah.
And I did the exact same thing. I muted the party and I gave her the kind of the script that you guys got. Like, hey, this is the gift of the vampire. Like my power is great, but my price is heavy. And she goes, nope, and just immediately takes her hand off the stone. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, then fine. Just like, and then I just unmuted her. So,
I love it. I love that. It was like the best part. And like, I just wanted to make it as dramatic as possible because I know that like Lilith thought I was gonna do it, and like I'm pretty sure like Small Drax thought I was gonna do it. So that's why I did the whole thing with like I put my hand on his shoulder and I pull out my sword, and I made a point to like remind everybody that I still had the sword in my hand. But then like I asked you like in whisper, I was like, what would it take to break this down? So you knew what was gonna happen, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like I wanted to make sure, and like Lilith gets really close to me. Just,
I really liked that Lilith and Small Drax were the angel and devil on your shoulder. Yeah. like Small Drax, like, come on, man, they're right there. We can do it. Like Casimir has only like 40 health. We could take him,
dude. He was. But no, I decided
his alignment is still good. He hasn't changed the alignment.
Can you imagine if it was a bad? But yeah, and that's why I decided to turn around and like smash this stone. Like nobody else is gonna get that power because I want to be the strongest one. Oh,
except for me.
Yeah, but no, it was a great moment in the adventure. Jesus, that was fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I know. Okay, so I was expecting you guys to go through the Amber Temple and explore, you're going to get some powers, blah blah blah. I forgot, or either I forgot or I didn't read it, but I forgot that your alignment changes based on the stones and stuff like that. so then after like the first couple of times that the alignments changed and you got all those flaws and stuff like that, I read up on the one for the vampire. I'm like, oh, he's gonna fucking kill Rictavio. And I kind of came to the realization that this like sort of naturally happened because up until this point, you have been shit talking on Rictavio.
Oh, dude, because I have. in character and outside of character too.
Like you've had like this extreme like don't meet your heroes thing going on, and you've just been like crapping on him this whole time.
Because just so you guys know, like Vesemir is a monster hunter. He's like a Witcher type guy, and he's a
Witcher.
Yeah, and we meet Rictavio, who's like a monster hunter as well, and he's like a writer or whatever the hell. And like
he literally wrote the book on monster hunting.
Right. So like, me being just like, trying to like role play and add a little bit to the story. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy. Like, I love his books. I can't believe he's here. Here, sign my copy or whatever. Big fan type situation. And then like through some things that he did, which wasn't even like cowardly.
It wasn't that he. So I think what happened was that a lot of people were expecting him to be like the big hero, like you know, like the puffed out chest and whatnot. But then they realized he's just very pragmatic, and he's like, hey, look, a win's a win. Fight dirty.
Yeah. So like Vesemir, like as soon as like that kind of stuff started happening, he just like straight up's like, don't ever meet your heroes. They're a fucking disappointment. And just he was shitty talking Rictavio the whole time. And then this happened.
Except for that time he cast Magic Circle and Arcane.
Oh yeah, except for that time. That was the gut thing. That was great.
But
and then that happened. We're like, you had this the whole time.
Yeah, and even then you're like, a broken clock is right twice a day, kind of thing. Like even when he did something right, you were like crapping on him. Yeah. I loved it. This is awesome.
Oh man, but yeah, no, that was that moment was intense. I had to rewatch it because like. I never thought so hard in a D&D game.
However, a very close second has to be when you guys were thinking about pushing over the statue.
That was gonna be my highlight too for like.
Just fucking push it. Just
let's
just push it over.
Hold on, because you have to explain a little bit of what happened.
Okay.
We're going through the stones, yeah, and go ahead.
So in the Amber Temple, like in the centerpiece of the Amber Temple is a statue. And on top of the statue is just an orb of darkness.
Yeah.
Something from in the darkness, which you guys eventually found out was Arcane Archer. Something from inside the darkness was just blasting you guys with spells. Like you couldn't even get close to it because it kept on like peppering you with magic missile or fireball or something like that. So it kind of came. And to be perfectly honest with you, I thought you guys were just going to take care of it session 1 inside the Amber Temple. I did not realize it was going to become like a boss fight. So this thing has been building up to like this whatever's in the statue is the menace. Like like you guys have been sneaking around it, like trying to get around it and whatnot. And then so you guys find a stone that gives everyone 25 strength. I kind of went over that before. So then you just asked me, hey, we're all 25 strength now. Can we just push the statue?
Can we just push it out the door?
Push.
Fucking hell. Yeah, and it did not only give us 25 strength, it gave us the flaw that we like to bully people and push people around. And like I try to imagine it from Rictavio's perspective, because what it was is that Rictavio was not in the room, and I've been picking on him this whole time. So like the whole party walks into this one room, and like it's 5 of us. It's 5 of us, right?
Yeah, almost everybody. The only person that doesn't take the stone is Talaxia.
Talaxia. We all take the 25. So we all call normal size, and we come out like super beefy, like gym rats type.
Super swole, like text the size of your fucking head.
And all this happened within like a minute. And Rictavio's like, what the fuck happened in there? And then I'm like, hey, we're all 25 strength. Like, what would it take to legit just push the statue out of the Ember Temple?
Just push it somewhere else. Oh, and it also doesn't help that ever since Berez, for whatever reason, Berez was the kickoff point. But ever since you guys went to Berez, there's been at least one SpongeBob reference per session.
Every single time.
Actually, I think the last session was the only one we didn't have a reference to it. But
no, I'm pretty sure there was one. We just didn't make such a big deal of it because there was so much happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Damn. But yeah. Fighters. It's not all about strength. It's about knowing the field and your weapons and how to use them. Right.
And like if you really do want to play a class that like is just hitting things and just purely combat, then like go for like a barbarian. You know? Like that's what they are good at. Like they're good at murdering people.
Yep.
But like when you do play a fighter, like unless you're playing a champion fighter, like if you're playing a fighter, just kind of keep in mind that it's battlefield control. Like you're the tactician, So
yeah, you are a fighter, not a murderer. Okay.
Right. You might have a sword and a board, but you won't be bored with a fighter.
What? Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys for listening to this episode.
Let me try that again.
No, Andrew, you don't get a second chance. You fucked it up. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you learn a little bit about fighters. They're a fun class. Don't think they're boring. They're not at all. Not at all. Make sure to watch us live on Wednesdays. We are getting to the end of Curse of Strahd. It's been an amazing adventure, and you guys will have a blast.
Yep. They finally hit the level cap for the adventure.
We did it.
So
we did it, bro.
Yeah. We did it, bro. Cabo.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. We're releasing episodes bi-weekly now. So yeah, follow us on iTunes, Spotify, or actually anywhere that you listen to your podcast, and we should be there. If not, leave us a message.
If not, give them a terse letter and we will sort it out.
Yep. Make sure to rate us, follow us, give us a review, thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever it is. It helps us out. We need to make some money out of this.
We're making money?
No, I said we need to.
I know. This so far this has been a money sink.
Yeah.
and get excited because we're gonna be talking about our favorite 2 classes.
Ooh, those are gonna be great.
Oh, I know. I am actually about equally parts excited to talk about both of them. So
just to give you a little preview. When Andrew first introduced me, when Andrew and I first started talking about 5e, we were with the girlfriends and we were going to like a mall or something. And the whole time, we did not stop talking about clerics.
Oh, dude, I was educating him on I was literally preaching the gospel about how awesome clerics are.
And it was like a 45-minute ride, and it was just like him trying to sell it, and I'm like, I'm already sold, bro. You don't even have to talk about it. And the girlfriends were like, oh my god, please shut up.
Preaching to the choir on this one.
Yeah, so that should be fun. We have what? Next one's cleric, and then next one's wizard, and then we have cleric number 1.
And then we got cleric, and then that's going to be the end of our season, right?
Yep, that'll be the end of the season. Wow, we have a season already. How about that?
Yeah. And then we're going to take a small 6 to 8 month break.
What? No, we're not. We're going to start recording daily. We're going to do daily shows now.
Hi, welcome to Attack of Opportunity. And today we're
give me that content, Andrew. Crack that lever.
It's not fucking YouTube.
If you want to make money, you gotta start doing dailies, man. No, but seriously, we're approaching the end.
I'm gonna quit my job that has pretty good benefits.
Yeah.
And okay pay.
To follow this bullshit. All right, but with that, thank you guys for listening. Make sure to stay safe out there. I know it's kind of crazy out right now. So if the end is your break, welcome to the club. Wednesdays get a little bit of an escape at 6:30 p.m. We're about to be done with the Curse of Strahd. We're gonna move on to Avernus, so that's gonna be great.
Well, I mean, I thought we were going to be close to being done with Curse of Strahd because I was like, oh yeah, the Ember Temple should be like maybe 2 sessions.
Nope.
And we're like on what, session 5?
Yeah, it's like session 5 for the Ember Temple. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your week, day, and keep on adventuring. You guys have a good day.
Stay safe. Quit touching your face.
Touch your face. Don't wipe your hands. Don't wash your hands. Don't wash your hands.
Don't listen to him.
Don't wash your hands. All right. All right. Bye.
Bye.
I take that back. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.